Hi, and welcome to our lesson on solving multi-step inequalities. It's just the same as solving multi-step equations. It's the same steps. Remember the rules about if you multiply or divide by a negative, flip the sign. But in this case, the first thing I need to do is subtract 2. So 3/4 x comes down. That's nothing. Let's see, 1/2. So that's equal to -4/2 if I make it into a halves. So that would be 1/2, so that would be -3/2. Okay. Now I have to multiply by the reciprocal of that, basically a fraction flipped upside down, because that cancels that out. And I would have, let's see, -4 times 3 is 12, 2 times 3 is 6, so our x is greater than -2. Great. Put a box around that and go on to our next problem. I'm going to add 3 here to both sides. Less than or equal to 28. Divide by 7. Let's see, that's canceled out. Y is less than or equal to 4. Great. Put a box around both our answers, and let's look at the next one. What I need to do here first is I need to add 5 to both sides. 2x, they cancel out. Less than or equal to 22. I have to divide by 2 on both sides. So x is, let's see, well, that cancels out. So x is less than or equal to, and that's 11. Great, and there's my answer. On this next one, I've got to add 3 to both sides first. Let's see, that would be +3 and +3. Remember, I'm always trying to get the variable by itself. So that's 21 is greater than 3x. They canceled out. I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. That's 7 is greater than x. I'm going to write it x is less than 7. Great. That is the answer. Okay, let's look at some other ones. Remember the rules about if you multiply or divide by a negative, we got to flip the sign. First, I got to subtract 3 here from both sides. So subtract 3. Now I'm subtracting 3. I don't flip signs. It's only when you multiply and divide. So that's -5x is greater than or equal to 25. Now I do have to divide by a -5. So I am going to flip the sign. So it's -5 here, -5 here. Remember, this sign flips directions when you divide by a negative. So that's x, and that's -5. So x is less than or equal to -5, and that is the answer. Great. Put a box around that. Actually, let's move on to our next problem here. Okay, here I have to add 10 to both sides. Okay, and let's see, that's leaves me 21 is less than or equal to, that's -7y, and they cancel out. Now I have to divide by a negative number. We know what to do when we divide by a negative. The rule is the sign flips direction. Y is -3. Let's flip this around, remembering which side of the inequality sign is pointing towards the y, because I like the y's to be on the left. Great. Let's look at a problem where we have to write and solve an inequality. So first, translate it into a inequality, algebraic inequality. That's 4 times a number minus 5 is greater than or equal to 31. Okay, now I have to solve that inequality. First, I have to add 5 to both sides of the inequality sign. Let's see, so that would be, that 4x comes down. It hasn't been affected yet. They cancel out, greater than or equal to, and that's 36. Divide by 4 on both sides. Okay, and let's see, we have x is greater than or equal to 9. And it is my answer. Great. Now let's look at some problems with the distributive property. They work just the same in equations. First, I got to distribute to 3 into 6, and 3 into 3x, SE is less than or equal to 72. So that would be 18 plus 9x is less than or equal to 72. First I have to subtract the constant, get the constants in the variables on opposite sides. Subtract 18. That cancels out here, and I've got 9x is less than or equal to, let's see, 72 minus 18 is 54. Divide by the coefficient, positive 9, and x is less than or equal to 6. And that is the answer. Okay, let's look at our next one. Here I've got to distribute the 2 to both, let's say 2 times 4, and 2 times 2x is greater than 52. Let's see, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2x is 4x is greater than 52. Okay, minus 8 from both sides. Okay, let's see, 4x is greater than 44. Okay, I'm going to divide by the coefficient of x, 4 here. X is greater than 11, and that's the answer. Now let's look at a concept called empty set and all reals. The first thing I need to do here is I could distribute the 4 to the 4t, and distribute the 4 to the 3, and bring down this 2t that hasn't been affected. Greater than or equal to, so that's distribute the 6 to the 3t, and distribute the 6 to the 2. Multiply that all out. 16t, so that's 2t, bring down, so that's 18t plus 12. 18t combined like terms plus 12 is equal to 18t plus 12. Wow, these look very much the same. Let's subtract the constant here. Oh, I'm just left with 18t is greater than or equal to 18t. Let's divide by the coefficient 18 on both sides, and I get t is greater than or equal to t. Well, since t is greater than or equal to t, since t is greater than or equal to is always true, the answer is all reals. All real numbers would make this inequality true. Now, if we got an answer where this wasn't true, we got 2 numbers on each side that weren't true, or the inequality was not true, we'd say it's an empty set. Great. Thank you for joining us for a lesson on solving multi-step inequalities. Now go get your homework done.